Good Sunday afternoon, everybody. It's time to cook Sunday dinner. Yes, indeed. And I'm sure you can see a little bit to the right there. Got my Christmas decorations going. I'm going to reveal them later, but we got to get this meal going first. So I'm going to be using my Ninja Foodie to do some, I'm calling it orange chicken. So some orange citrusy tasting chicken. Just give it a little bit different flavor here. What I've got here is I've got 14 chicken drumsticks and five chicken wings. And what I did was I squeezed the juice from two medium oranges. I put in a half a teaspoon of the chicken bouillon. In this case, I used beef bouillon cube seasoning, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, an eighth of a teaspoon of black pepper, and a half a teaspoon of my jerk seasoning to sort of give it that fruity taste to it. And then I put in about a half a teaspoon of adobo seasoning. I'm not adding any extra salt. The adobo seasoning has salt in it, and so does that chicken bouillon cube. So altogether, with those two salty ingredients, it's about a little over a teaspoonful. So what I did with all of that was sprinkle it over the chicken, and then I poured the orange juice on top of all of that. So we're getting ready to go ahead and put it into the Ninja Foodie, and we're gonna let it cook. I'm gonna put it, of course, I'm gonna cook it on the air crisp. I love the air crisp element uh, feature rather of the cooker better than I do any other one. It seems to do my meat like I want it every single time. Uh, and I'm developing my own cooking times. There's not a lot of salt on here. Oh, and by the way, to that orange juice, I added 2 packets of stevia to give it a little sweet taste, and then a teaspoon of honey. 2 packs of stevia and a teaspoon of honey is what I put it into the orange juice. So kind of give it a little tang, and then I put about a half a teaspoon of teriyaki seasoning in. So we're gonna call it citrus teriyaki. I forgot all about the teriyaki. So we're gonna go ahead and put this chicken into the cooker. And I'm thinking as I'm looking, I want just about I only put half a teaspoon of black pepper here because I put that jerk seasoning. You know, jerk seasoning is hot. And I think I'm gonna put about another eighth of a teaspoon of black pepper. Y'all know me, I have to add a little bit extra. I'm still extra, even though I'm still recovering. Okay, I'm just making sure this, and by the way, I've been had this marinating for about 3 hours, y'all. It's good if you can marinate it overnight, seriously. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is get it into and y'all know I'm not gonna stand here and just dip it. I think I'm just gonna pour it all in there at one time. I was thinking about putting that juice in last, but I'm just gonna pour it in because I'll just let it cook until it all cooks down and that juice, comes to the top of it. What I want to happen is I want that juice to permeate this chicken. That's why I am putting it on the air crisp. I probably would have to use the excuse me. I probably will have to end up using the pressure cooker part to finish off the cooking process. But I want it to be crisp and I want it to brown up a little bit. So I always use the air crisp, and I just simply put the air crisp on long enough to get it a nice brown tinge. Halfway through the cooking process, I will open it so that I can marinate the meat a little bit more. So let's go ahead and get it started. So first of all, what you have to do is obviously let the lid down, and that is the air crisp cycle. And then of course we got to turn on the air crisp. Okay, I don't know why you have to do it twice, but it goes up to 390 degrees, and then you go ahead and put the time on there. It's 20. I think it takes about 45 minutes. Well, but of course, I'm gonna put 45, but I'll look in it at 25 minutes. So everything is on. So now you just hit start, and it'll start cooking. Okay. So The chicken is on its way. Now, we can come on over here to the stove because I'm going to cook some kale. And I've got leftover black-eyed peas and I'm going to steam some rice. And that's going to be Sunday dinner. It's going to take all of 1 hour to get this meal done. So it's like, I guess we're going to be 5 since nobody's here. It's 4 o'clock. Nobody's breathing down my neck to eat at 4. So I kind of got caught up with my decorations. So y'all know I'm busy doing decorations this time of year too. Let's get on over here to the other side of the room so y'all can see what's going on. Let me see if I can move this without throwing it all over the floor. Okay. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. So far, so good. Okay. Y'all see my black-eyed peas sitting there. Y'all see my kale pot right here in front of the stove. Kale pot. My peas are going to go into that pot and rice into that pot. So, in my kale pot, I've got a small onion chopped up. I got 3 cups of water. I got a teaspoon of the beef bouillon cube seasoning, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and 2 tablespoons of smart starch. That's it. Now what I want to do, I want to open my bags of kale. I've got 2 1-pound bags of kale that I'm going to be cooking. So hold on just a minute. Let me grab them first. You know what, y'all? I talked the whole 10 minutes and didn't even have the camera on. Well, unfortunately, y'all missed that conversation. Well, I got all the greens in the pot. That's why the conversation was so long, because it took that long for the greens. Remember I told y'all 10 minutes? So I talked throughout the whole 10 minutes. And what I was talking about basically was how we go through life and recognize the things that we go through in life and how we measure those things. And I don't think I had the camera running when I was talking to y'all about how I was contemplating today the most difficult thing that I've had to go through in my life, of course, was losing my husband. And even when I think about other people going through things, somebody, has gone through something even worse. I don't know what that thing was, but for me, I can surely say that that was it for me. And the other hardships that I have counted that I've had through life, growing up, going to school, trying to work, having people be unfair to me, those things paled in comparison to the emotion and the trauma I went through when my husband passed away. So even though I grew up poor, didn't have a whole lot, had to work, I always looked at that part of coming through as part of what you had to do anyway. Because surely if you didn't have a whole lot of money to start with, or somebody didn't leave you a big old inheritance, or somebody's keeping you along the way financially, you got to work for what you get. And those are the things that I always think about when I think about hardships in life. And my heart, like I say, my worst hardship, of course, was losing my dear, sweet husband of 42 years. And I think about, the things that I went through before I knew him. I got through. I'm good to go. I had a bad first marriage. God graced me to be able to come through, and then he sent me the best man in the world to love and to love me for 42 years. So I'm good to go. So, when we're sitting and thinking about the things that we go through and the hardships in life, also think about, how somebody else goes through even worse than you, and you can't experience somebody else's hardship, but certainly you can experience and talk about and consider what God has brought you through and where he's brought you to today. Again, I survived a bad first marriage. I survived it. And here I am, like I say, that part of my life, sure it happened, but I don't dwell there. I don't live there. It happened. Hey, I'm done. I'm good to go. I cherish the memories of my husband and all the things that we did in life and the things that we accomplished in life. And I was also saying in that other segment that I didn't record, how we come about acquiring things in life, and it's important for our children to know that to acquire things in life, you have to work at it. Unless unless you have some type of benefactor that gives you money and wealth and all those things, where you don't have to worry about the financial end. But certainly I did, and I know full well that the things that I have accomplished in my life, the material things, or anything that required money or required hard work on my part, I had to work for it. I had to work at it. And, you know, young folk, a lot of times they don't realize, because sometimes we don't tell them, and what you don't know you cannot do, is that don't look at what somebody else has in terms of, oh, they got that, I want to get some, except that you're, ready to work for it, because it's not going to happen. I was tell my grandson that, I said, look, all this stuff that you see sitting around here, it didn't happen overnight. It took years to purchase a house and put all your stuff in your house and buy your clothes and buy little things around that represent who you are and what you are, and be able to share. I said, so don't expect that you're going to be one of these overnight successes, even though there are people who have experienced that. But those are so far in between. Just like I tell my kids all the time, I think every young boy, and I won't say every young boy, but a lot of young fellows want to be NBA basketball players or NFL football players like that. Well, the statistic on that, I think, and I know somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but we're just going to give just a little ballpark figure that just say there are right at 2,000 NBA basketball positions available throughout the NBA system. So how many young men are there in the world that say that they want to hold that? So, how many chances do you think you're going to have? And how many people do you think that there are in line ahead of you who have that skill that the NBA is looking for? So those dreams are sort of unrealistic in terms of, oh, I want to be an NBA basketball player. That's okay to aspire to do that, but you better have something else on the back burner. I think football players is like under 2,500 or right at 2,500. That's not a lot. Now, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a school teacher, postal worker, there are many, 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 many positions that you can fill out of those positions. And if you so happen to have NBA or NFL skills, then honey, go for it. I'll be tuned in to watch you on Sunday or Monday night. But the reality is that you have to build the mindset that apply yourself to those areas where it's realistic and makes sense for you to apply yourself to. I don't know how I got all over there. Anyway, I'm talking because I'm waiting for these greens to cook down, and they have. The greens have cooked down, so now I can get them stirred up. And then once they cook down really, really good, and you get them, see they're all stirred. That's all 2 pounds of them in the pot now. And now they are down to water level, where you just go ahead and stir them up real good and get those onions and everything stirred in, and let that seasoning cook through them. And I'll cook them for about a good hour. And we'll have us a good old pot of kale greens. You know I love me some kale greens. So the kale greens are on and popping, y'all. And these are lightly seasoned so that I can eat them. And again, I'm not eating nowhere near as much food as I used to, because I just don't have that appetite to it. That medication is still in my system, but it's the medication that I need to get better. So, okay, now I'm having black-eyed peas today as well. Now these black-eyed peas are left over. I cooked black-eyed peas, let's see, I don't know when I cooked these peas, but anyway, what all I'm going to do, I took them out of the freezer, and black-eyed peas freeze real good. So, what I'm going to do, let that pot heat up a little bit. I'm just going to put them in that pot and heat them up, and then I'm going to cook about a cup of rice, because when you eat black-eyed peas, sometimes people like to put a little rice on them, so I'm going to cook a little bit of rice. And basically, that's my dinner, because that chicken is over there. It's halfway through its cooking cycle. So we're gonna have some little black eyed peas, some rice, some kale greens, and that teriyaki citrus chicken. Um, Again, I don't know if it got recorded when I was talking before to tell y'all. Uh, I'm on a roll today. My voice is coming back, my strength is coming back, so I feel more like talking. Because I'm gonna tell you, honey, to begin with those first 4 weeks, holding a conversation or doing a whole bunch of talking, woo-hoo, it takes some energy, and we don't realize the energy we expend when we doing certain things until something happens that you cannot do it. Then you really realize, because I thought to myself, good Lord, I thought I can't even laugh and talk. I'm used to laughing. My family is loud and we love to run our mouth, honey. We used to talk and stuff, so I have to pace myself even with talking. So I thank God that my strength is coming back and I feel more like conversing uh, like I used to. Not quite like I used to, but a little bit more, and I'm getting stronger every day. And again, thank you all for your prayers for me, and I'm praying for you. I don't know if any of y'all are out there going through any kind of. I know you are. There are some people out there. Of course, I'm not gonna sit here and call your name and all that kind of stuff, but I know for those of you who are going through any physical things, uh, I am yet praying for you. Praying that you get stronger each and every day, and praying that you will take care of yourself so that you can continue to get better, so there's no back sets, no going back over anything that's already happened to you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put these peas in. I thawed them out. I'm just going to let them roll right into that pot. I had 2 different bags. I can't remember what the 2 times that I cooked, because usually peas don't stay around my house too long. So we're just going to put both bags in there right together and let them heat up. Okay. That's one good thing about leftovers, honey. If you freeze them right, you can come back to them again. Just make sure, when you're freezing black-eyed peas or any kind of beans, you put them in a nice, now these beans are loaded, y'all. Whew. What in the world I got them cooked with? Honey, ain't no telling what I got conjured up in these peas. But anyway, I know they're good. And we just, all got to do is just get them nice and heated up. And we'll eat them right along with the peas and the greens. I'll eat just a few. Because, honey, they are seasoned to the hills. Woo! I can get me some onion chopped up in those. Put a little bit of rice. Put over a little bit of rice. Honey, I could eat peas for a little while. You hear me? But I'm going to behave myself. I might eat a half a cup. And that's it. Or a fourth of a cup or something like that. But pretty much, Sunday dinner is on. All I got to do now is just, I'm going to turn, I got my rice pot on the back, just turn that water on, get that water going, and we're just going to be ready to eat in about another 45 minutes from now. So, hang in there, and I will be back when everything is ready. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I got the chicken done, and it got ready in about 40 minutes. Okay, so the chicken is done. Everything is done, as a matter of fact. But what I am going to do now, because I want that glaze that I made, that juice is really good. I had, just look over in there. That's what the chicken looks like now. I took mine out because I'm not going to be able to do the sauce, because I'm going to thicken that sauce a little bit. Well, not really thick. I'm going to sweeten it a little bit so it'll have that citrusy, so it'll pull that citrusy flavor out. So what I've done, I went ahead and I got the juice of one more orange. Just going to pour it in there like so. Okay. Stir it around. That'll just give it a little bit more citrus flavor. Add a little bit more teriyaki to it. and a little bit of brown sugar, and then I'm going to pour it over there, and then I'll turn the air crisper back on and let that seasoning just glaze onto that chicken. And you know, the rest of them have more of a citrusy and kind of a slightly sweet, not a big sweet taste, but more than what I can have. But my chicken is pretty good. But this orange sauce that I'm making, mine is modified. They're gonna get the real deal. So I'm just gonna put it back through the air crisper for about another 5 or 6 minutes and let it just glaze on there. So for all practical purposes, y'all, this meal is ready. I just love the way that air crisper browns that chicken up and just makes it have a nice little crisp on top of it. The rest of my food is ready. Let's go across here. Um, the rice is done. Of course, the peas are all nice and heated up. And the greens are ready. So everything is piping hot. I'm just going to get this chicken finished off. And it's going to be time to eat, y'all. That flavor train be rolling in here shortly. So y'all just hang on with me and I'll show y'all what that chicken looks like when it comes out of that air crisper one more time. Okay, y'all, I got my juice ready and I started before I let the video. But anyway, it's back into the air crisper now. I put it on for 8 minutes. We're going to let it cook 8 minutes and then we're going to see what it looks like. And I've got enough of this glaze here that if anybody wants to put it over that rice or more of the meat, they can. It's not. See, it's not. I put a little flour wort in there. I'm going to put it in the oven and microwave and let it cook and see if it'll thicken a little bit. I didn't want it really thick like gravy. It's a glaze. Okay, so we're going to cut out and do a cleanup and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, there it is. The chicken is done. 8 minutes took it right where I wanted it to be. So this little air crisp function on this Ninja Foodie works for me. That chicken is cooked to perfection. It's beautiful and it did exactly what I wanted to do. It crisped it up, browned it up, and glazed on my little glaze. So we're going to get ready to eat here in about 20-30 minutes. So hold on. Go ahead and get your food ready for the table because if you want to sit down and eat with us when the flavor train comes in, go ahead because we're going to eat in about 15 minutes. So I'll be right back. Okay, y'all. Dinner is served. Everything is ready. There's the rice, the glaze, the black-eyed peas, and that beautiful citrus chicken back there on the back, and those scrumptious kale greens all ready for us to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thank y'all for tuning in with me, for listening to me. I'm almost back on the road where I can talk like I normally talk when I'm cooking. So it's time for me to sit down. I used up all my little energy, so time for me to go sit down, y'all. Waiting on the flavor train to roll in here. As soon as they do, we're going to sit back, relax, and enjoy this meal. It's a good meal. It's not too heavy. I can eat the greens, of course, and the chicken, and just a spoonful of peas. Maybe not any rice. But anyway, I am just ready to eat. I'm famished. So thank y'all again. Continue to pray without ceasing for those people who are still going through from the shootings and from the various other things that's going on around the country. Pray for our children because they go back to school tomorrow. So just pray that they'll be out of harm's way tomorrow when they go back into their classroom. So again, thank y'all for tuning in. Love you guys. Take care of yourself. Cook something good to eat. And go ahead and get those decorations pulled out now. Just, if it ain't nothing but a wreath, put it up. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. Love you all so much. And remember to keep those prayers going up now so the blessings will continue to come down. So until I decide to cook again, y'all,